Hello, welcome back. It's Fred in the shed, well, in the shack. And as promised, going to bring you some CB action today from this little ATS 20, this Arduino little based radio receiver. Before I show you that, we'll just have a little discussion about this radio. It's been quite popular on the channel. I've had this about 3 weeks now, been playing with it. A few things that I like and a few things that I think could be improved. Firstly, the sensitivity. What I found is certainly on the shortwave band and also on CB, it is remarkably sensitive with a decent antenna, this radio, bringing in lots of distant stations, probably just as well, if not better, than a dedicated CB radio. Not as good as a HF radio, of course, but you wouldn't expect that. But no, very, very good sensitivity. However, there is a slight downside to that. Although it's nice to have a sensitive receiver, I have found that some of my local big stations on CB tend to overload the radio slightly. Now, I have played with the AGC, the automatic gain control. You'll see that on the video when I show you this in action. And yeah, it does seem to, when they first transmit, it kind of overloads. You get a, what I would say, like a chuffing noise, and then the AGC kicks in and the modulation becomes sort of clear. But you maybe lose the first second of what they say. It's only purely on the very close stations. Normally stations that would give me signals of about +10 to +20 dB. Everyone else is coming through really, really nice. And I would say that the clarity as well, the received clarity, is really good. Even if you just use the top mounted speaker there, it's a very large speaker for something that's so small. But on headphones, people on CB sound really good. Another thing that I thought was a little bit odd, and I did email the supplier and they got in contact with the manufacturer about this. When you tune this to say 27305 and then you use the BFO, the clarifier, to clarify the stations in, I found I was having to really clarify this in a lot, about 800 to 900 hertz, so almost 1K out. Now, some of the CRT radios, the 6900, can be almost 1K out as well before it warms up and then it comes onto frequency. This one just tends to stay about 800 hertz out. It's not a biggie. I did email them and said, look, you know, is this normal? I didn't want to review a defective unit, and they said, yeah, all you do is you tuning the frequency and then you just adjust the BFO accordingly to bring the stations into clarification. But I think that is quite a little bit out. I would have liked to have sort of seen that a little bit tighter. Again, with a firmware update maybe in the future, that could be improved. But if there was just one thing that I wish they'd spent a little bit more money on, that is the rotary tuning encoder, the VFO on this radio. Now, when I did the first review, I did say that it does feel a little bit cheap and it does feel a bit loose. It is a clicky VFO control. And you've got to be patient with it. This is the thing. You can control the bands here by going up and down the bands. This gets you roughly to the frequency that you want, and then you can adjust the step rate to a higher step rate. But it will involve quite a bit of twirling of the VFO to get the frequency that you want. Now, you have to take it a little bit slow. I found if you start getting a little impatient and you start turning this around like you would on a normal HF radio, to be honest, I found it can be a bit erratic. Sometimes it misses, so you have to turn it 2 or possibly 3 times for the display to go up. And even if sometimes it jumps back as well. So it's not the most accurate encoder. I know online I've seen there are people that have taken a soldering iron to this and they've simply swapped it out for something a little better. That might be something I maybe do that in the future. At the moment I'm living with it. It's not terrible, but it does, I feel, let the unit down. I wish they'd spent a few more cents and put in a slightly better encoder. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a £50 radio. As far as the hardware goes, that's probably my only criticism, is the rotary encoder. I don't suppose it's got any RF shielding inside. Might make the radio slightly noisy. QRM, things like that. I've not noticed that, to be honest, using it in the shack. It seems to be just about the same as a normal radio. And of course, you have to bear in mind this is an experimenter platform. This will continue to improve. Hopefully they'll fit a better encoder on a later model. I'm sure they will, and then we can maybe upgrade our own. It's only a little bit of soldering, even I could do that. And the software, of course, it is, because it's Arduino based, you can flash the firmware and the software will increase with time. Already I've seen other people that have flashed theirs, that you do get a slightly better signal meter. I'm probably going to leave mine as it is at the moment. I think mine's working, you know, absolutely fine. Right, okay, going to stop the waffling, because I do get accused of waffling, and it is true, but that is part of Fred in the Shed if you follow the channel. Here come the CB clips. Now, just bear in mind that at the moment, and this might be improved at a later date with a firmware update, this radio does not receive FM CB. It's purely AM, upper sideband and lower sideband. You'll probably see me muck about with the AGC control when I'm on lower sideband. That was down to this radio being a little bit oversensitive, like I mentioned before. I was getting this chuffing noise when the stronger stations were coming in. But anyway, you be the judge. You can have a look at this clip, these CB clips. You be the judge. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of its performance on upper and lower sideband CB radio. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for sticking with the intro, and here come the clips. Stay safe.
Think it's going to do businesses any good?
I reckon you're right, and I mean the likelihood of me going up in the car and being able to park anywhere near Oxford Street is pretty much zero.
Oh crikey, yeah. I mean, I used to know me way around London like anything, but I don't know how to get on now. It's bloody nightmare up there, isn't it? But there you go. I say if we go up there, we go by train anyway. It's much easier. There's plenty of services on the underground and everything, so that's what we do anyway. But there you go, that's how it is. Yeah, but with this ultra low zone and everything, you know, they're expanding them. The 420, you out there this morning, Dick?
Dave?
Yeah, Rog.
Yeah, there's somebody out here with a single tone Roger bleep similar to ours, but all I'm getting the bleep but no audio. I don't know whether you can hear that.
Yeah, let's try. Yeah, any other stations out there on the 305 this morning? Charlie Tango 061 in company. Yeah, I can hear a voice out there, but I just can't make out what they're saying, Richard.
I say all I'm getting is a Roger bleep, and even that's way off frequency. But I didn't know whether it was just me or everybody else could hear it.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was Stan out there. Is that you out there, Stan?
In Elstree has made the contact to Australia a few times, sort of mid-morning. You know, as you say, sort of 9-10 o'clock time seems to be the peak for them. And he's made contact successfully a few times there. And I'm just hoping that I'm going to be around one day and hear them, and there's not too many people from Europe and the UK trying to get back to them.
Yeah, Rog, yeah, that's always the problem, isn't it, really? Yeah, in the morning, I think one of the nicest ones that I picked up was a guy in some island I can't remember the name of, out in the Indian Ocean, which I was quite surprised to get, and he was even more surprised when he got a contact from our division. Back to you.
Yeah, I've had, Reunion Island, which is off the coast of Madagascar. That's in the Indian Ocean. I've heard people talking out to Seychelles, but I haven't heard the Seychelles Islands coming back. They're pretty much slap bang in the middle of the Indian Ocean. That's a contact I'd like to get, I must admit. Same as Indonesia, Thailand and what have you. I haven't spoken to any of them.
Glenn in Tower Bridge.
Yeah, but I just rang Jimmy and I was on the train for number 4, so I'll get all up any day.
Only because Jim wanted to go.
He's not been locked in now,
Yeah, I've locked him in after Glenn. Yeah, after Glenn.
And who's number 5?
Well, that's it. Now we can start bringing them in. We got Mr. Spider Mike. What's your call sign, Spider Mike? Oh God, he's remembered there again, Jake.
He's only one of his laughing at him, will he?
Well, not with the call sign at least.
Hotel Tango 74.
Hotel Tango 74, come in.
Good evening, Kevin, Mobile Haro.
Good evening, Kevin. No problem at all. Everyone's talking at the same time, but I'm getting you, Kev. No problem.
Jolly good. I'm just on my way into work, so I'll be shutting down in a moment. But thanks for bringing us in, man.
That's all right, mate. I'll just hand you over to Jay. Go on, Jay.
Yeah, good evening, Kevin. I can hear you. Break. Break, come in. Evening, Jake. Evening, Dave. It's Richard from Hatfield. Charlie Tango 4273. You get that break, Dave. Good evening, Jake. I've lost him a little bit.
Yeah, good evening, Richard. Richard in Hatfield. Trying to do it quickly. Charlie Tango 4273.
Spot on there, Dave. Spot on, mate. What do you call sign, Dave? 297 Watford. We've got Lima Tango 297 Watford. Hello, Robbie. Hello there, Jake. Yeah, it's Derek. Oh, lovely jubbly. I like that. You're about signal free. And a radio 5, mate, I've got here. You take care, drive into work, fella, and have a nice evening. Listen, I don't envy you, mate. Okay, thank you for that, Jake. I'll be on the side, mate.